All right, guys, so we got some big breaking news for you here on the Epstein files. We had Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna finally had their press conference with Epstein victims, but I got to fill you in a little bit on the backstory here because there's some drama there as well. So get this. Last night, the Trump administration was whipping Republican members of Congress to block the release of the Epstein files. So the Trump White House was literally making phone calls as Thomas Massie was trying to get more Republicans on board to support the forced release of the Epstein files. I believe it's called a discharge petition. He did get a couple, by the way. He actually ended up getting Nancy Mace. He got Marjorie Taylor Greene. Maybe there are two others, I think. 180 Democrats are on board. So the Democrats are there. But Massey's trying to get Republicans, and he hits a brick wall. And he hits a brick wall because the Trump regime is behind the scenes saying, if you support this move from Massie, we will consider it a hostile act to the administration. So they are going all in-ski trying to block the release of the Epstein files. Now let me show you this. So Representative Anna Paulina Luna comes out. Now let me just point out, this dumb bitch was just on Joe Rogan's show pretending like there's definitely UFOs and aliens, and I've seen the evidence, but I can't show you the evidence. I can't give you any specifics, but I can just say vaguely, I definitely know there's something else out there. And basically trying to play to the Rogan crowd. And she was so bad that she made even the Rogan crowd go, now I'm suspicious that there's anything at all. Because you're clearly trying to force this on us. Why are you trying to force this on it? Like, is this a distraction from the Epstein files? Is this a distraction? Could be, right? But it's very bizarre that a member of Congress goes on Rogan to sort of spoon feed them a narrative that they want to believe is true. Even Rogan seems skeptical, right? So anyway, so she comes out and she says the following, ready? GOP oversight and Representative James Comer will be releasing the Epstein files to a publicly available website shortly. They are all being uploaded right now. I don't think the vote to release the Epstein files will even come to the floor, being that they will all be made public. So do you understand what's happening here? This is a desperate last-minute effort to say, no, don't force the release of all the Epstein files. We're going to release all the Epstein files over here. So as Ron Filipkowski says, Exhibit 248,926, proving that MAGA politicians believe their voters are morons. So guess what? Sources at the House Oversight Committee confirm documents posted by Representative Anna Paulina Luna are the same 33,000 pages of Epstein documents they received. 97% already public and part of a broader plan to block transparency. In other words, fake release the Epstein files to head fake everybody and make them think there's no reason to go further and pass this thing, which would actually release all the Epstein files. Oh my God. He must be on every fucking page of them shits, bro. And remember, he instructed the FBI to redact his name from the Epstein files. I guess they just didn't finish doing that yet, because these motherfuckers are still scrambling like crazy and trying to figure out what to do and how to deal with this. All right, more. They are giving away their plan. Re-release the documents already seen by the public, claim you released all the files, then say there is no need for a vote to release the full Epstein files. It's exactly what's happening. So now, here we have some of the Epstein victims. So they did their press conference. They spoke out earlier today. Let's watch some of this. A lot of this stuff was heavy. It was very heavy. Here we go.
Worst part is that the government is still in possession right now of the documents and information about that could help me remember and get over all of this maybe and help me heal. They have documents with my name on them that were confiscated from Jeffrey Epstein's house and could help me put the pieces of my own life back together. But I don't have any of it. And I know the same is true for many of these women. We are here to support this bill today, not only for transparency, but for the American people. But if the government is going to release these documents to the public, describing the crimes committed by Jeffrey Epstein and others, the least that they can do is give me my documents that they have about me. The other survivors deserve the same respect from our government. While identifying information must be redacted, To the public, it is equally important to provide the victims themselves with unredacted information. I will never forget when the FBI agent showed up in my door in 2008. Jeffrey Epstein hired a lawyer to represent me, or more like to represent him, I'd like to say. I couldn't ask any questions, and I had no idea what was going on. I was terrified. Until today, I think most of us are still terrified. I thought somebody was going to kill me. I thought something was going to happen to my sister or my mother. It went further out to even maybe thinking something would happen in Brazil with my family. And then one day, the lawyer said that everything was just going to go away. Like nothing happened. I didn't need to testify. When I asked him why, he gave no explanation. That was it. So why? Why was I never called to testify then? We could have saved so many women. We could have saved so many lives from being abused. Why did he get away with it in 2008? Why was he able to go on in the abuse with hundreds of girls after the Florida investigation?
Well, the speculation around that is he's Mossad. So the federal government got involved and said, this is above your pay grade and you cannot put him away for a long time because this involves Israeli intelligence. By the way, I keep saying this, but I'll keep reiterating it. Do yourself a favor. Go to Netflix and watch just the Epstein documentary they have. And you'll get a good sense of the scope of how wide-ranging this thing is if you just watch the Epstein documentary on Netflix. And then outside of that, I've done a lot more reading on top of that to get more information, but that'll give you a good sense of what we're dealing with here. And so that point is sort of a devastating one. Why do you get a sweetheart deal being caught, like, graping and grooming underage girls in Palm Beach in this, like, wealthy area? Why do you get a sweetheart deal? Well, again, the speculation is because he's tied to Israeli intelligence.
Why didn't they let me testify to help stop him? Our government could have saved so many women, but Jeffrey Epstein was too important, and those women didn't matter. Why? Well, we matter now. We are here today, and we are speaking, and we are not going to stop speaking.
So we also have this. Here's Thomas Massie imploring his fellow Republicans to grow a conscience, have some morality, and do the right thing. Watch.
I hope my colleagues are watching this press conference. I want them to think, what if this was your sister? What if this was your daughter? When these survivors speak, the Washington establishment is asking the American public to believe something that is not believable. They're asking you to believe that two individuals created hundreds of victims and they acted alone, and that the DOJ has no idea of who else might have been involved, that nobody else did anything that rose to a criminal enterprise. The American people know that's not true. Now, the Speaker of the House just offered a fig leaf to my colleagues. They're going to vote on a non-binding resolution today that does absolutely nothing.
So do you understand what he just said? They're trying another avenue to block the release of the Epstein files. First, they tried another fake release led by Anna Paulina Luna. Everybody was onto that and mocking it. So now they say, what if we vote on a non-binding resolution to release the Epstein files? In other words, we'll all vote to say, yes, release the Epstein files, but there will be no force of law attached to it, so we're not going to actually release the Epstein files. They are desperate. They are scrambling. Everybody sees it. Everybody knows it. Everybody can tell. Okay? Massive shout out to both Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, who got the ball rolling on all of this stuff. They've been planning this out for weeks now, and you can see a lot of Epstein victims, I believe it was 10 Epstein victims, actually showed up. Now, here's the part that everybody's talking about, though. This is serious. So here we have one of Epstein's victims, and listen to what she says is in the works. Watch.
Congress must choose. Will you continue to protect predators, or will you finally protect survivors? Transparency is justice. Release the files, end the secrecy, and stand with us in declaring that no one, no billionaires, no politicians, not world leaders, is above the law. And let me announce now, several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details on that. Because history is watching, and so are the women who will come after us. Thank you.
So that's a brilliant idea, and honestly, that never even occurred to me, but it makes perfect sense. So why would you not get together as many of the Epstein victims as you can, right? Some of them will probably still want to remain anonymous and won't have anything to do with it, etc., but a lot of them clearly do. And why wouldn't you get them all together, have them sit in a room and say, well, what do you know? And what do you know? And what do you know? And let's write this down. Which business people are guilty? Which politicians are guilty? Which celebrities are guilty? What did you see with your own two eyes? What was done to you? And they can make their own Epstein list, an unofficial Epstein list. Now, Epstein, to be clear, Epstein has all of the files. The idea that there are no files are the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard. This guy was running a human trafficking operation. There were cameras in the rooms, in all the rooms, at his various residences. We've showed you some of the pictures, the exclusive pictures that have been released of some of his residences. One of them was the New York one, which wasn't even the one that had the most trafficking, right? That, I believe, was the West Palm Beach one. But there's cameras everywhere. We know he had pictures, he had videos, he had dirt on some of the wealthiest people. I mean, imagine what it was like at the fucking pedophile island. His plane was called the Lolita Express, right? Well, imagine what it was like at that island. Imagine the pictures and videos that were gathered there and who was guilty, etc. So he has all of the files. They have all. So the FBI has all of them. And we'll never be able to get to the actual truth unless we see those. But it's definitely a start to have the victims get together and say, who did you see? Who's guilty? What did they do to you? So on and so forth. And so this is a big deal. So it seems like they're getting organized, but this is wild stuff, man. This is wild stuff. The fact that the Republicans are bending over backwards. And look, I'll say it. I think all the Republicans, or most of the Republicans, I should say, would vote to release the files, no problem whatsoever, if it wasn't for all of the immense pressure being put on them by the Trump regime, where they're saying it's a hostile act to us if you vote to release the files. So that means one man is standing in the way of the files actually getting released. His name is Donald Trump. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.